So we're learning more and more, still very little mind you, but more about Nintendo's upcoming games. Games like Metroid Prime 4, it's starting to look like that title will be a 2019 release after recent Eurogamer sources said the game was still in early development. And now, recent job listings at the Pokémon team for localization have been posted with an estimated start date between April and June with a 6-month contract. Localization is obviously done towards the very end of a game's development, so if these jobs are for that new Switch Pokémon game, it could certainly be making it in time for a 2018 release. While I'm of course very excited about this game, I've been a bit worried about the pressure this team may have been under to hit that 2018 release, and as the 2018 window seems more likely, it continues to make me feel a bit worried. I've said it multiple times, whenever Pokemon does drop, it's going to be the big game of the year for Nintendo. Nothing is going to come close to moving that amount of software, as well as hardware. You know, they give it some Pikachu-themed Switch or something, and they'll be flying off the shelves even faster than that Mario one. But because of this, there is immense pressure on this title, and on Game Freak right now. Like, seriously, I wouldn't want to be working for them at this moment. Not only are the folks at Nintendo expecting big things from this game, but the fans are as well. You know, myself, I have immense expectations for this game. I'm expecting it to be one of the best Pokemon games ever made, if not the best one. You know, with the added hardware capabilities of the Switch, we should be getting something way bigger and more beautiful than we've ever seen in a Pokemon game before. And I'm not at all doubting they can deliver on this. I have a feeling that creative-wise, working with the Switch was a shot in the arm for these guys. Like, you know, getting to work with something like this with more power, more capabilities, after so much time on the DS and 3DS, you know, I'm hoping they're going crazy and trying out some new stuff. And yeah, I have faith that they're going to be able to make something awesome. My worry isn't about their ability to deliver, my worry is about whether or not they have enough time to deliver on this vision. When we got that initial announcement back at E3 last year, most of us assumed the game was in early development. Perhaps they were announcing that they were just starting development, but obviously we had nothing concrete on how far the game was. Just because they didn't show anything doesn't mean they couldn't have shown anything, essentially. I mean, I'm sure they knew just saying Pokemon and Switch in the same sentence would be enough to get fans going crazy. But then, and here's where my worries sort of began about there potentially being a lot of pressure on this team to get this game out for 2018. These earnings reports started dropping with release schedules included, and you know, you'll see games with specific dates, 2017, 2018, TBA, and whatnot. But Pokemon, interestingly enough, was described as 2018 or later. So why not 2018 or TBA? That's my worry. Phrasing like this makes me feel like pressure could be coming from the very top, like investor level, to get this game out as soon as possible. I could see it, you know, when you're seeing success like the Switch is having, moving tons of units and software, the question quickly becomes, you know, how do we keep that momentum going? Pokemon is obviously a solid answer to that question, so it would make sense that they'd want it out for 2018. Especially if it doesn't look like any other big titles at least will be ready for that window. You can have all eyes on Pokemon. And this is where my worry comes in. If the development team was pushing back like, hey, we need more time, you know, we're not going to be ready for release by the end of the year, and this is how we ended up with that 2018 or later. You know, the higher-ups didn't want to let go of the 2018 release, but the team working on it was like, oh, we could really use more time, stuff like that. Sure, that's reading into things, but again, why was it listed like that if something wasn't going on? Again, with these recent reports of Metroid probably not coming in time for 2018, as well as, you know, things like these localization listings at the Pokemon Company, it's seeming more and more like Pokemon will have to fill that spot as the big game release of this year. Now, I'm not guaranteeing any of this. There is, for one, still some stuff coming around that time. You know, I've told people, while certainly it's not going to be like a major success, but I've told people, you know, don't sleep on Fire Emblem. I'm super hyped for that, and you can't underestimate the power of waifu collecting. But there isn't a big system seller like we had with Mario last year. Granted, I wouldn't be surprised if that retro game dropped on us at some point. Whatever they've been working on for several years at this point, so they have to be crazy far along with that. So I also wouldn't count that title out. And while we have no idea what it actually is, I assume whatever it is planned to be a big release. But signs are pointing more and more towards Pokémon being that big release. And the thing is, sure, this game would sell regardless of whether or not it's amazing. Anything with Pokémon and the Switch name on it would sell. But the goal of this game needs to be bigger than that, in my opinion. I think they should be trying to pull in an even larger audience. Pokémon Go really proved to me how vast the appeal is for Pokémon, but I don't really think they'd be pulling in as many new fans here like they did with Pokémon Go, but more so I think the goal should be to pull in more past fans. I think most people who are interested in a Switch, or maybe own a Switch, are at least aware of Pokemon, but I think there's a ton of people who have fallen in and out of love with the Pokemon franchise, specifically from when they were younger and have since gotten older, many of which may greatly be drawn to this brand new experience for the Switch. That's why there's so much hype around this, right? It's going to be Pokemon like we've never seen it before, and I think that's going to pique the interest of many who haven't played a Pokemon game in a long time. Beyond that, and this is the big point, this game is setting the stage for what is to come. They're not just selling us on this one new game, but the future of the franchise on the Switch. Here's where the game could be a financial success, but the series could suffer in the long run if it comes out feeling rushed. You'll have more people on the fence for the games to come if it doesn't feel like it delivers. And this is why personally, if I had some sort of input on this, I would admit I see the allure of a holiday 2018 release window. The money is there to be made, okay? I see it. But I think Pokemon, whenever it drops, is going to do huge numbers. Obviously, it would be biggest around the holidays. Obviously. But they have to look at this as a long-term play. Pokemon should be a huge part of the Switch puzzle for years to come. The most important thing should be making this first initial release the best it can be. And I hope that's what they're doing. Anyway, with that, this video's a wrap. Let me know your thoughts on the pressure this next Pokemon game is under in the comments. Are you worried the devs may be getting pressured hard to make it in time for holiday 2018? Or do you think they're going to be given all the time they need either way? And remember, even if it does come out in 2018, that doesn't necessarily mean it was rushed. We don't know where the game was at when they initially announced it. They might still be getting enough time if it comes out in 2018. I'm not saying, if we see it in 2018, that means it was rushed, okay? I don't want people taking it out of context. As always, I'm John Zakari, and thanks for watching.